Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Pemko number 4131GRL gold anodized aluminum automatic door bottom with an EPDM insert. Synthetic rubber type material for a surface mount or a semi-mortise mount sort of installation. We'll talk about that in a moment. So probably just a bit of a rambling description of automatic door bottoms. Automatic door bottoms, in my opinion, are very elegant solutions to sealing the bottom of a door. They are seals for the bottom of a door. They are automatic in the sense that when the door closes, the seal drops and seals off the bottom of the door, against the sill. When the door is opened, it retracts up and looks like it does now. Okay, the ends of this are different. You've got a screw head here. We're going to call that device the plunger. The plunger is the hinge side of the door versus the side that does not have the plunger, which is the lock side of the door. These are ordered as handed units. The factory likes to know the hand of the door when you're placing the order. Okay. The 4131 is representative of the fact that this is a surface mount or semi-mortise mount unit with this specific feature to it. Okay, this duty rating. The G stands for the gold anodized. The RL is a reference to the EPDM insert, a very nice, durable sort of rubber insert that drops down and seals. Before we get into the operation of this and cure the obvious curiosity as to how something is automatic, let's look dimensionally at everything before we go on. There's an image below this video showing that the height of the body is 1 in 27/32, so roughly 1 in 7/8, with a thickness of the material at 19/32, so roughly 5/8. Okay. Available in several different lengths. This happens to be a 34-inch unit here. It can be ordered in many different lengths. If you have need for a custom length, definitely order it from us that way. You would do so by ordering the next longest piece and indicating in the comment field the actual length you want us to ship it out at. This type has to be mounted on the push side of the door, and when you're measuring, measure between the stops. When the door is closed, measure between the stops, deduct about 1/8 of an inch, and that would be your net size. And regarding the length, when you order it that net size, that little 1/8 of an inch is going to allow just the small margin that you would want to have between the edge of this and your stop. The seal, the EPDM, is always going to ship out a bit long, and you're just going to trim that with an exacto knife or utility blade to get a real nice fit there. So, how are these automatic? Okay, so dealing with now only the hinge side of the door and our plunger, you can see that that's a Phillips drive there, and right now it's set that it's completely flush, it doesn't stick out at all. Well, if I were to take a screwdriver and turn that plunger counterclockwise, it will begin to project out of the edge of the housing. When you install this, you'll turn it clockwise so that it's flush. After you get it installed, you'll rotate that counterclockwise to get it to stick out a little bit. Just a little bit, just a small amount. That's a 1/4 inch. You don't need any more than that. What happens is, when the door closes, okay, when the door goes through its cycle and goes to open up, this is no longer in contact with the jamb. When the door is pushed closed, this comes in contact with the stop of the frame, the jamb. This has nowhere to go but in, and when it goes in, it drops. How it does that is, this plunger is connected to a flat spring. That flat spring is inside of here, and it's evidenced by this pin that holds it in on the other side. You can see that you've got 3 holes for screws. Here, here, and over here. Well, this other situation is the riveted pin that holds the pin that holds the flat spring in. When this goes in, the flat spring bellies like this. Well, as it bellies, it forces this inner channel assembly to go down. Now, you see that when it goes down uneven. Well, in an actual application, this side would encounter the floor, and if I use my thumb to restrict it, you can see that it drops down evenly on the other side, whereas if I didn't, it would just drop down like that. So the action of the automatic door bottom dropping is somewhat like a guillotine, where it goes down and then like this. That's how these work. They're elegant because, well, in my opinion, they're elegant because they seal to a floor that may be unlevel or a door that might not be exactly plumb. They seal in such a way where the material is not dragging across carpeting, hardwood floor. It's retracted up neat and out of the way, so that when it's opening into a space and you might have a rug inside your doorway, this gets up over it. It's elegant in that regard. The only complaint that I've heard about these, and not all Pemko models have this sort of issue that you need to contend with, is 1 out of 1,000 people will call up and say, why is that so loud when it retracts back up? So if the only thing I've ever heard of these not being nice is that one complaint, and it is certainly legitimate. Pemko has models that feature rubberized boots inside of here so that when contact is made, you can see where that sound is coming from, that it will deaden that sound. I've never really given it much thought myself, although when someone points it out, you do end up noticing it. We talked about, oh, and by the way, let's not be too hasty. The further out you make this project, the greater the drop. Okay, up to about 3/4 inch reasonably is what you're going to deal with, probably 7/8. You don't want too much of this dropped down, because as the door goes to open, this housing will not be requested to retract back up. So you want to just be very conservative, a couple turns at a time, test the door operation, and nothing more than what you need to seal. Just good surface area contact, and other than that, you're done. This can be mortised. Can be surface mounted, which is typical, or a semi-mortise model is also very typical as well. Now, if you're going to do a semi-mortise, obviously the length of this is going to be different than if you're doing a surface mount, so keep that in mind as well. You know, if you're going to do a semi-mortise, you're going to want to take into account that your door may be beveled. You know, you might want to take, you know, although it's 5/8 of an inch thick, you know, if you ordered it the net size on the high side of the door, obviously that's not a good idea. It might be too long if you've got beveled doors. If you order it the net side on the push side, it might be a little bit small. If it was me, I'd probably play with a 1/16 of an inch, although Pemko's tolerance for cutting it may be plus or minus 1/8 of an inch. That would be not unreasonable to expect from any manufacturer. So that semi-mortise would be, whereas if you took the bottom of the door and you routed an entire channel, the height of the housing, by the thickness of the housing, and made it very nice and flush. That's really a nice installation too. That adds to my definition of the word elegant with installation. Obviously, if it's a fire-rated door or the construction of the door would not permit that sort of machining to it, definitely surface mounted only. Available in different finishes. Gold is somewhat less common than, of course, aluminum or dark bronze, but nonetheless, gold is a very common finish as well. This item would be considered standard duty by Pemko, and they are a full-line manufacturer of all things automatic door bottom related, heavy duty, different inserts, acoustically rated items for sound control. That's very common as well. Now, moving on to some ancillary items that are going to come in this package. You're going to get as well, obviously, the screws to hold it all on. And that is going to be these 3 screws here. Those screws just simply go right through the body. Okay. Very typical. You are going to get a screw for the jamb. an undercut flathead, sort of number 10 by whatever half-inch screw, and that's assuming you have a wood frame. Every time this comes in contact with the wood frame over time, it will gouge it out. The idea is to place this elegantly into the frame, and then that head makes contact only with the screw so that you don't gouge out your head, your frame. You'll also get a couple of finished trim plates here, and they go onto the edge. If you recall back looking at the edge of the items, they're unfinished. So for the lock side, you're going to get a black cover plate so that it'll look like this when you install it. For the opposite side, you'll get the same plate but without a hole. Okay. You're going to get tiny little screws to hold those end plates on. Okay. And after that, that completes everything that you're going to get with this item from Pemko. Pemko is a full-line manufacturer of all things hardware related, not only things less common like door bottoms, but of course the standard material, thresholds, door sweeps, gasketing. They make material out of obviously aluminum-based material, stainless steel-based material, architectural bronze, thresholds, weather stripping, and architectural bronze. Full line of aluminum continuous geared hinges, and they make metal vision frames for use in steel and wood doors. If you have any questions on the Pemko 4131GRL automatic door bottom or any other Pemko product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.